Being creative is hard, and you have to make your projects on your own. I know most of the time I'll see my own OCs and I'll be like, wow, it'd be cool if I could do a little thing with them. But then I think about the thing and then I'm like, ah, shit, I gotta be the one to make them do stuff. Like animate them or put them in a music video or whatever. Right now, it's hard for me to even like keep up with life with like calling family and friends and getting up for work that I don't want to go to. So, yeah, if you want to hear more about me rambling about how being creative is hard and why we don't finish projects that we really want to finish, stick around. And hopefully we can explore this together while I go through trying to do my own dream of being a YouTuber and continuing to make videos like this. So, yeah. Cue intro.
And we're live. Produced by the colleagues. Take one.
Hey, yeah, I'm Kyra. I'm a video creator, digital artist, writer, and animator. All of those things I am slowly teaching myself how to do. So yeah, that's part of what this video is just me being like, hey, let's start over and try again and make all the things you want to make. And maybe do it badly, but you'll have people along with you for the ride. This video initially used to be about New Year's resolutions and like, oh, how do you complete your goals? And there's a touch of that still in here, and I think I want to use like some of the insight from the people I interviewed from that, so I'll probably sprinkle in a few of those throughout the video. I'm sick and tired of wanting to make things and then not making things, or only doing it like halfway or even like 90% and then not being able to do the last 10%. So that's what this is. So, yeah, let's get into the projects list of stuff I just didn't fucking finish. I planned out an entire fan comic series with my girlfriend. I did a whole comic dub casting call. I paid for all of the VA's lines. I got the artist to send me the PDF. It's going on 4 years incomplete. I got 2 projects to trade with a friend of mine. It's been like 2 years now. 4 different abandoned video scripts. I have a whole speed paint that I was proud of from nearly 5 years ago. I think it's ugly now, but at the time I really liked it. Multiple character avatar designs. Even the one that I'm going to be using now for this video, it's older and I want to make a new one again, but I'm only using this one so that I can actually finish this video. So, yeah, I'm very consistently inconsistent, and it sucks because this is a medium, specifically video creation on YouTube, is a medium that rewards consistency and punishes trial and error, so that feeds into the next part of the topic? I can't speak! That's when self-doubt kicks in. Self-doubt. So I'm consistently inconsistent. It's just really hard to move forward, even with my back against the wall. I'm just like, I guess I'll just sit here and die. And so it starts feeding into this cycle of inadequacy, and then I start feeling like, am I lazy? Am I stupid? Maybe I just don't want it enough. That led me into this video as well, being a little bit like curious about why does this happen in the first place. I cannot be the only one struggling with this. I see so many people making videos and I'm like, that could be me, but I'm playing. Like, even if I see a video and I'm like, man, that's such a mid video, but at least they made something. Am I making something? No, I'm not. So, yeah, we're tired of the self-shame. We're ready for our, I don't know, less shame era, okay? So, yeah. How do you feel your mentality affects your motivation when it comes to meeting your goals?
Oh my goodness. I am easily my, oh my goodness. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm definitely my own worst enemy when it comes to getting stuff done. Just because, like I said earlier, some days I just don't feel like doing anything. I've already had a long day at work. Maybe it was a little annoying or stressful, and it makes it kind of hard to come home and do anything productive afterwards. I don't think I have super great discipline at the moment to do most things. I kind of just do things when I feel like I want to. But I think that's like not a good way of approaching it, because realistically, no one ever wants to work or do anything that feels like work.
Why does it happen? Disclaimers, I'm not a mental health professional. Me and my friends are not mental health professionals, because I know I also said I'd be throwing in like little clips from the interviews I did with them, and I'm not gonna sit over here and be like, yes, you should listen to every word that we have to say because we know everything, because that is not true. Okay, also, another disclaimer, I'm going to be using a funnel graph made by Cynthia Morris. If you do not know who she is, I will be linking her book in the description below, as well as the original funnel graph. But I thought the way that she described creative motivation, it really resonated with me. So I worked with what she already initially had and kind of just switched a few names and stuff around. So like, I'm not claiming to own any of it. This is all hers. Please check out her book. And last thing, any research I did for this video is listed down below. I usually like to listen to videos because it helps me get the research done, because I really suck at sitting down and like reading. I got that toxic combo of fucking dyslexia and ADHD, so I don't read, okay? Open a book. More like open your ass. Okay, but I need to stop talking. Why do we start projects? I know for me, it's a lot of novelty. It can also be impulsivity. Like the one time I asked for a piano from my parents because I was like, damn, I really wish I could play the piano. They were like, oh, all right, bet. Like, here's a piano, kid. I did not touch that fucker. I did not touch it once. I think maybe I put batteries in it and then I never touched it again, and then we ended up donating it. Sometimes, like, you know, you just get this idea in your head of like, oh, this is gonna be the best thing ever and I'm gonna do it every day and I'm gonna do and then you don't fucking do any of that shit. Impulsivity without a plan, not super helpful. Novelty, is a quick way to get dopamine. So those kind of coexisting, not always the best, especially if you want to finish something. So yeah, going to Cynthia Morris's funnel graph. This is the area that she calls the field of possibilities. It's that area where she says that you feel you're most omnipotent, like you have all these fun and creative ideas of what you could do and will do and all that stuff. For the sake of this video, I will be calling it the pool of possibilities. It will make total sense with my analogy later. So for now, field of possibilities has become pool of possibilities. Okay? With this, that's where that novelty and dopamine and impulsivity kind of like kicks in, where it's just like you're floating with your ideas. It's like they don't really have to mean anything. This is just the area where it's really fun and anything could happen, but a lot of the time stuff doesn't happen. That was just page number 1. Fuck me. So, leading us into the next part of why do we stop with this funnel. The deeper we go, the more restrictive it gets, and people hate discomfort, and that restrictiveness is just so uncomfortable. It just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. You know, sometimes people will bounce from the pool of possibilities to like the creative zone, maybe a little bit of ideation, but once it starts feeling uncomfortable, we just float right back up to the top, because it's just like there's no like real limits. And when the boundaries start getting tighter, it's really hard to push against something that was once fun when it's no longer fun. Sometimes people wanted it in the first place because it's that new novel ideation of what they wanted, and now it's looking a little bit scary. So it flew back to the top. Because of that, I just want to let you guys know, to get the hard things or the stuff that you're struggling to get, sometimes you just have to do hard thing. There is no hack, there is no get around, like it's just going to be hard. And I feel like you can either like dive in and try to go even further and further and further, or you could just float up at the top. And I feel like for some people, they are satisfied with just floating with the idea, and that's perfectly fine. Like sometimes stuff just isn't for you, so it's okay to go back to the top. But then you have some people who are like, no, this is what I really want. And sometimes even floating back to the top can be like, it can feel like a hindrance because you want the outcome, but you're too afraid to see what comes out at the end of the funnel. And I feel like that fear of actually completing it, or even the fear of the process of completing it, can be what keeps people from actually creating and finishing their creations. I decided to make another list, and this will be my list of how many times I wanted to quit. So I got sick when I was recording this the first time around. I can talk off the top of my head a little bit better, but actually reading a script while sick, while being dyslexic, was an actual hell. So I wanted to quit so many times doing that. Wanted to make this video for New Year's, but it already passed, so why would anybody watch this now? I had a backlog of projects that was just way too ridiculous that if I didn't do those by now, I was never getting anything done. I got back from a celebration with family, and I felt bad about not making as much money from a real job. I missed a day of working on this project for a family emergency, and I was like, man, I'm just not disciplined enough because I technically had time to work on this, but I was running on 3 hours of sleep. I was worried about what if I didn't know how to write a script, and then proceeded to write 4 pages of a script and then overhaul it and use a manuscript anyway. Oh, I also wanted to give up after I wanted to use a manuscript instead. Nobody wants to listen to why I'm struggling. That's another big one. Yep. But yeah, I was afraid of my lack of ability. I was afraid that I wasn't as good as anybody else. I felt like I was only as good as the work I produce, and this fear just continued to manifest into like perfectionism, and it just continued to hold me back and stop me every single time from continuing forward. How do you handle obstacles presented in your journey as you work toward your goal?
So obstacles is a tough term, right? Because an obstacle could be anything really, and it's very journey dependent. So it's hard to give a catch-all advice on how I would handle my obstacle, because every obstacle probably requires personal touch or personal, way that you go around it. Because of that, I would say that the most important thing that I would learn to do is to be flexible and to know when to sort of cut losses, which is, you aren't going to be able to bound over every single obstacle that comes in life.
Yeah.
Because, again, as I've mentioned before, the only thing you really have control over is yourself. And through controlling yourself, you can accomplish a lot. You can do some amazing things, But there are some things that aren't in your control. And so all you can do is choose how you want to react to those things.
So, if finishing stuff really sucks, how can we begin to apply solutions? The first thing I started doing, at least for this video, I started doing research, and I wanted to start understanding, like, is this just a me problem? Is it not? Clearly, it's not just a me problem. I went into looking into this part of the brain called the AMCC. According to Andrew Huberman, this part of the brain is responsible for helping us push through difficult tasks and is engaged and enlarges when we are engaged in difficult tasks we do not want to do. The key word is it's stuff we don't want to do. I noticed with this research that some people are just really sensitive to reward prediction error, which is just our brain immediately like, is it worth it to us to do this thing right now or to do fun little thing that give us dopamine really quick, oonga boonga? So with the AMCC, if you choose to go with the easier thing, it stops engaging. I've seen some people compare it to like a muscle, where since it only engages in difficult tasks, you have to train it like a muscle. So like starting really small with like, I really don't want to finish doing this paper. And it's like, okay, can you work for 10 minutes on it? Well, I don't want to do it at all. Okay, well, just do 10 minutes. Okay. And then you do the 10 minutes. And let's say you do that 10 minutes and you're already pushing yourself to do the thing that you don't want to do. But let's say you're like, okay, I'm kind of getting into the hang of it. I know I have a bad habit of going straight into, well, I might as well knock this whole thing out. I don't want to do it anymore. I'll just do it all right now. But one of the things I saw that people recommend for building your AMCC is you want to start small with pushing it, because if you just go and write the whole paper all at once just to get it done, you're gonna burn out. It's pretty much the equivalent of telling somebody who's never ran a mile to go run a marathon and then be like, yeah, good fucking luck, buddy, have fun. Yeah, you just want to start small and slowly build on it. And one of the things I realized too with looking into the AMCC was that it's not just about grit, especially if you are neurodivergent. I specifically looked into advice for like ADHD brains because I personally have ADHD, and our brains need more than just grit. We need additional scaffolding. And examples of that I use toward making this video and working on my channel I used a lot of tools such as like task visualization, time visualization, body doubling, and gamification to help support my brain as I tried to push out of my comfort zone. Especially with holding myself accountable. Like I have my little visual timer. I also use, like, when I was doing my research, I tried to accommodate my brain too with like, I use like stim toys near my desk. I would have like kinetic sand for me to like squish while I was trying to focus on like what I was learning. I literally taped like my goal to my little board by my work area, telling me like, this is our goal, this is what we're going for, and I look at it every day I go in there to work, and it's hard to forget it because it's right in front of my face on that stupid little sticky note. And I wrote the date on it as well so that I can like cross-reference like just how long I've wanted this, at least how long I've wanted it, and written it out. I've wanted it way longer, I can tell you that. And I thought that those kind of tools were very helpful with helping me get back on track when I needed to. Making sure that you are accommodating to your own brain and recognizing as well that you have to literally build up finishing things because you have to work out your brain to pretty much get used to finishing things and pushing through hard things instead of trying to work around it, because our brains are hardwired to want to work around stuff that are problems. The whole reason why we make tools and stuff, to make shit easier. Anyways, understanding the fear, that is a big part of it too, because like now that we understand that there is a literal part of our brain that we have to work out, we have to understand the fear that kind of helps guide us to not use that muscle, right? Because if we already are kind of hesitant to go do the brain workout, like it's not gonna help us go and pick up that first weight. I personally use the goal map from How to ADHD. I will link her video where she explains how to use it down below. I walked through like, you know, what is the goal, why that goal, and on my own paper, and my goal is to become a full-time YouTuber. Why this goal? I put I want to build my own creative business and be my own boss. I'm tired of working for other people. I want to be creative and make stuff. I want to animate when I want to animate. I want to play funny games with my friends. I thought that like with her PDF, they really break it down really well of like weighing the cost versus the benefits of going through with your goal to help understand the fear behind it. So like for me, the benefits of trying to become a full-time YouTuber greatly outweighed the benefits of not doing it. I had like work from home, set my own hours, I get paid to create, I love doing my work, I can provide jobs for like friends and family if I really needed to, like, you know, building my own business, woo! And then the benefits of not doing was a lack of judgment online. And then below, I got the cost of doing is a lack of stable income. It can be kind of scary. Discomfort of strangers looking and judging me. The cost of self-motivation. I don't know if I have the self-motivation to do so. I gotta sink a lot of time in. Oh yeah, and then of course the cost of not doing is pretty great. Disappointment in myself. Envy of other creators. Lack of satisfaction. Reinforcing self-doubt and a lack of discipline. So like obviously this fear is costing me so much more to not do, because I have just as many bullet points, but the ones that the cost of not doing this hurt so much more than the cost of doing it. The cost of doing it, I feel like I have a general idea of stuff I could do to deal with these problems. A lack of satisfaction in myself? Oof, buddy. Like, how are we supposed to get over that one? So yeah, that's like, that's where she kind of like leads you in the goal map about going over like your obstacles. You already know stuff that's gonna bother you or stuff that's gonna get in your way, so like, you know, how are you gonna handle it? I really like how they go through the if-then statements just to like keep it simple. And you know, a couple that I wrote for myself is like, if I have a lack of stable income, then I will set up ways for like subscriptions. Yeah, like just setting up my Ko-Fi. If I feel discomfort from strangers, then I can block or delete them. I sometimes forget that I don't really owe strangers like my time/energy if they're just being assholes. So yeah, I can do that. And then last one, if I lack self-motivation, then I will lean on my support group and set scaffolding in place to hold myself accountable. Name a time when you had a goal that went really well for you, and why do you think that you were successful?
A goal that went very well for me? Oh gosh. I guess I think the goal that went very well for me is a transition of video content for me. Because if you go, and those videos are still up on my channel, I used to be a gaming channel. Like, if you scroll back, like, from the age of, like, I don't know, I think either probably 13 to, like, when I was 18, I was making video content fairly regularly, like, on a, like, semi-weekly basis. And, you know, then I just, like, slowly realized it was just, like, I don't think I'm entertaining enough. Like, I feel better about myself now, like, being entertaining while playing a game. That's why I stream. But I also just don't think I could have kept that up, if that makes sense. Like, I know there are people that edit and make videos every single day, gaming videos every single day, but I don't think I could have kept that up. And realizing that is okay. You don't have to do it. It's completely optional, and that's okay. So I started slowly but steadily putting in, oh, here's a cover of a song I did. And, like, I was 16, so, like, you know, it wasn't the best thing in the world, but I enjoyed it while making it. That goes back to what I was saying before.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, I uploaded a cover one day. Then I uploaded, like, a sort of, like, live action comedy video every now and then. And then, like, so I started introducing comic dubs, and that's when I get into voice acting and, like, started sharing some of that stuff. And then, like, slowly but surely, I just kept on updating more of, like, that content, then just slowly slipped out of gaming content.
Yeah.
I think that the transition was really a success for me.
So, how I applied it. It was a lot of trial and error. I made quite a few experimental videos. I actually had to remind myself for this video where I started from. And with this channel, I initially started with the idea of, like, I just want to see if I can animate a comic dub. I just want to see if I can do it. And then I did it. And I was like, wow, that was kind of fun. Let me see if I can do this. And then I did it. At some point, when I was experimenting with that, I realized, wow, this is kind of doing really well. I ended up getting 1,000 subscribers, and I'm just like, whoa, like, I never expected to get that many in the first place. This is crazy. And then I look at it, at the number, and I'm just like, but they're gonna expect more comic dubs. I don't want to be known as the comic dub person. I want to do my own stories. I want to do my own animations. I want to do my own drawings and everything. But, like, I don't just want to be known as a comic dub person. I gotta do more than that. So if we're looking at the funnel, I was looking at the cave mouth, and I was noticing, okay, this means keep going down the lane of comic dub land. And I'm just like, huh, I don't like that. So we're gonna go back up to the top, and we're gonna do some trial and error up in the pool of possibilities and the creative zone and the ideation area. So I did a few more experimental videos. I did the Hear Me Out cake. I did a random animation for it was like a mothership animation from, like, our OCs in, like, a tabletop game I was playing in. But yeah, and then I started writing, like, scripts for, like, other video ideas and seeing how I felt about it. I mean, this video itself, like, I did a 5-page video essay structure, and then I ended up hating how I read it. I didn't like how stiff it sounded. I actually, like, realized that when I was first building my channel, that the advice of, like, niching down videos confused and kind of, like, stressed me out, and that, like, not all of the advice was made equal. So at that point of, like, watching these videos being like, oh, you need to niche down, you need to know what your channel's about, blah blah blah, like, I didn't know what I wanted my channel to be about. So it was hard for me to be like, I'm gonna make these kind of videos, because I'd never made those type of videos. So to turn around and be like, this is all my channel's gonna be about, but never try it in the first place, I didn't want to make the same mistake that I did with the comic dubs of being like, oh yeah, I kind of like this, but then being stuck doing a niche that I don't really care about as much. Like, do I still plan on doing, like, a few comic dubs every now and then? Yeah, like, I do enjoy doing it, but that's not all I want to do. And I think that starting from the top of this funnel and working my way down, that's part of why I feel like it resonated with me so much. I feel like it's easier for me to just take all of my favorite ideas and just slowly bring them in. Yeah, I took note from all these different types of videos that I ended up making. I took note of what I enjoyed, and that brings us to our next part, which is make a plan. So for my own channel, for me, it was really important to have some kind of structure of what I wanted my channel to be about. Like, I didn't want it to just be comic dubs, because like, what makes me different from any other comic dub channel? And also, that's just not all I wanted to do. I wanted to do animation, and I wanted to do comics, I wanted to do like gaming, and I want to play with friends and stuff like that. But it all felt too vague, and so I was just like, okay, let me list 6 different things that I'm like, yes, I really want my channel to include these things, and let me see what they all have in common. So taking note of the stuff I enjoyed already, I noted that I really like character design, film, animation, narrative design, gaming, and comics. At least from what I looked at with all of those, and I took a lot of time to go over these. If you guys want to see a video on like how I came to the conclusion of all this, like I could go into that. It's its own thing, because it took me so long. Anyways, these 6 things had in common was collaborative storytelling. And I was like, yes, I love telling stories with my friends, and like, you know, going over the stories told in film, and like narrative, like I love all of that. So I was like, okay, so my channel will be about collaborative storytelling, and I will use these 6 different pillars to help ground me in what my channel will be about. And if something is outside of those things, I'm going to treat it like, ooh, shiny object syndrome, because like, we don't need to go out there, okay? We already have our things. We have 6 things, and there's lots of different things we can do in this area, so let's do that. Let's focus up a little bit. So with those 6 pillars in mind, now it's time for trial and error with intention. So I came up with this video. I was just like, okay, so my whole thing is that I'm struggling with being consistent and creatively making things. So I'll lean on my narrative design branch of my 6 pillars. And I'll go in and see how I like making a script, how I like talking to the camera, and like figuring out how I want to tell this story of how I struggle and how I can relate to other people and hopefully help other people. And then like anytime I feel stressed and I don't know what to do, I'll refer back to my goal map for obstacles, like my if-then statements. If this happens, then I can do what? I think it makes it a lot easier for me to remember where I'm at and where I can continue pushing through. It gives me an entire like a plan and a goal and a map of where to go next. Also, just a friendly reminder, going back to accommodating your brain, do not be afraid to lean on the scaffolding, because some days are harder than others, and some days all I can literally do is get up, go to work, come back, set my stupid little timer, and just sit down at my desk and write. That is why it's so helpful for me to have my own designated workspace, so that I don't have to go and get all of the things to go do the thing. It's just right there. So we go to follow through. We started at our pool of possibilities, and we slowly bounce between our creative zone, ideation, and our pool of possibilities as we gather resources and begin to make our plan before we start diving way deeper down. We have to know what we want, we have to know what we're afraid of, and we have to understand why we want it. And all of these parts are really important, because if we have all of these parts, they form our map to help us get through the scary part, which is the cave mouth. For me at this part, working on this video and working on my channel, this was me completing my script and my thumbnail. And that's just because like this is where it starts getting very narrow. I need to choose like specific topics within my idea to stick to. And I know for me it helped to start with what I felt like was a little easier, or at least what I had a bit more confidence in. So I started with my thumbnail. I used my thumbnail to get through that first scary part of the cave mouth, and I was like, okay, if I can finish this thumbnail, I can continue to glance at it for inspiration when I'm working on the script. And I did. I drew out my thumbnail. I even wrote out a little blurb of, you know, what the thumbnail meant to me, and like, you know, the different ideas I had behind the different forms of media I used for it. I talk about it more in the little essay I do. That is where I went into like the different details and stuff for my thumbnail. So if you're curious about that, you can check that out on my Ko-Fi. I thought it was pretty interesting, so yeah. But yeah, back to the cave mouth. Getting through that first scary opening of the cave mouth to me was the hardest part, because I was just like, there's no way I could do this, right? There's no way I could get a video out. And even now, while I'm struggling to like record like a more relaxed version of what I wrote out an entire script for, I feel like it was harder for me to actually complete the script in the first place. And I use the thumbnail as a measurable action. That's the next part throughout the cave mouth. Like we're in the cave now, and because I squeezed through that cave mouth already, right, I now have that experience behind me, and it feels kind of silly to be like, oh, I don't want to let my thumbnail down, but like I already put all the work into that thumbnail and I'm super proud of it. And I even used like support from my friends to like be like, yeah, I'm really proud of this, to keep pushing forward from a little bit more energy. I used that to continue to propel me forward to finish the script. And each time I was like, okay, I finished a paragraph of this script. Okay, I did this. Okay, I asked this person to help me edit and proofread it. And that was just another measurable action to continue to get through this really tight cave. And part of me thought that even in going back and making a manuscript version of the initial script that I wrote, I thought that I was backtracking, but I already completed the script and I wasn't redoing it. I was just using what I already had and adjusting what it was. You know what I mean? And so this is where I feel like I got to my point of the refined home stretch, because I recorded at least an hour of just fully reading through the script word for word, and I hated it. Like, it took me like a whole nother like evening after work, sitting in the closet, recording that, and I was frustrated, and it was slow. And I hated every part of that process. And I really don't think that I wasted any time in even doing it in the first place. I think it helped me realize that I can write a paper of what I want to say, but I don't like reading off of the script. I'd rather get a general idea of what I want to talk about and then just kind of yap. And I'm already pretty confident in my basic video editing skills, so like that part is not the very hard, refined home stretch for me. If anything, it's hard for me not to continue to refine the video because there's always new stuff that I'm willing to try and like add to a video. But with writing out the video and talking about something that matters so much to me, I think I was afraid, and here we are with the fear holding us back again. I was afraid of my words not coming off as intelligent, or like, yeah, as intelligent, because I wanted that appeal, right, of people wanting to actually click on my video, but at the same time it's just like it was too stiff. It didn't feel like me. And while I do like my voice in what I wrote, I don't like saying it aloud. It doesn't feel as good or as natural for me. I feel like even now, if I were to be reading off of the script, I wouldn't be able to like talk with my hands as much right now, or just kind of like look around. Like, I wasn't accommodating myself by doing that. It was too restrictive for me. And I feel like by continuing to go back to my map and accommodating my brain and, you know, using a bit of trial and error with intention, I was able to do this instead, and I actually really enjoyed this. I didn't know if I would do another type of video like this. I actually questioned a little bit, like if I was like, oh, do you actually care about narrative design? You can't even read a script. And it's just like, no, I do. I just don't care for reading off of a page, and I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that, but it's gonna be a lot. Take a shot every time I say it. Haha, just kidding. Don't. You'll die. So, yeah. We get through our follow-through. We get through the pool of possibilities. Through the creative zone, through ideation, through the learning curve. with our research and everything, we get through that cave mouth and we start taking measurable action so we can set up those markers throughout the cave and just see just how far we've come, even in the dark, where it doesn't feel like we're just blindly swimming through, right? And then we come to our refined home stretch, which is where I'm at right now. Talking to you all, appreciating how far we've come. This is my second day of recording, and it was so hard for me to get through this part of the refined home stretch because I was actually almost done recording the other day, but I had to go pick up groceries. So, multiple drafts later, now we're here. I'll probably be in the editing stage now of this recording by the time I hear it again. I'm really excited to see what I end up putting together for the video portion. Honestly, now that I'm almost done reading this little manuscript and talking at the microphone, I'm getting nervous again because, like, it's becoming real again. We're gonna make an actual video. This is what you wanted. This is what you always wanted. And I'm like, ooh, you can't see me, but I'm poking my nose. I guess for closing, I want to say thank you so much to my friends and family who have supported me throughout the years of working on videos and convincing me to do what I love instead of just letting it sit on the back burner and letting myself be frustrated with not doing what I love. It's taken a lot of work, but I consider this video to be one of my babies, and I'm hoping to treat it with care and continue to make more videos going forward. Yeah, you guys can find me on Blue Sky, Tumblr, trying to use Instagram more, maybe TikTok. We'll see. And if you'd like to support me, you could support me on my Ko-Fi. Thank you guys so much for watching. See ya!